Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Tom Ullrich. He's the CEO of Aston Bay Holdings. It's a company that I follow in the newsletter. Aston Bay is this is a straight up swing for the fences, big target, drill speculation. It's a deal that's already starting to get some interest now, but I think it's going to get a lot more. I think this is going to be one of those projects that really gets speculators worked up this year. Can you give sort of a brief overview to sort of help people appreciate the kind of scale that you and Dave Broughton are working on here?
Yeah, well, essentially we are located just south of the Cameco's past producing Polaris mine. That was a world-class deposit, over 21 million tons, over 14% zinc plus lead. When they shut that down in 2004, they estimated they pulled $16 billion worth of ore out of the ground there. That's what we're looking for. That's the analogy we're looking for on the zinc side. But even more to our hearts for both Dave and me is the copper play up here. We think that this has all the geologic characteristics in place here that has the same potential to host something like these Congo-style sediment-hosted copper deposits that Dave has been so instrumental in finding with Robert Friedland's group.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you who may or may not know, Dave Broughton is working with Tom. He's one of the co-discoverers of Kamoa-Kakula, which is, like a billion tons of 3%, something like that? I mean,
it's a few billion tons, yeah. And even more importantly, it's several hundred million tons of 6 to 8%, something like that. Yeah. So it's got very high grade.
And you, of course, are not in the Congo.
We are not in the Congo. Yes, we have our own challenges. We're far north. We are located, in Nunavut, so we do have weather is a challenge. Yeah. But that challenge has been overcome before with Polaris and Nanisivik. We know we can mine that far north. It's actually it's good to be sometimes that far north. You don't have that many neighbors. Yeah. The one interesting thing, in Nunavut, we actually have a neighboring population in Resolute Bay, of Inuit who actually have a mining culture because they've seen Polaris, they've seen that mines can work, and they've seen it be reclaimed, in the end, and they understand mining. We're ahead of the curve on that one. We don't have to educate them about how a mine can be good.
Now, of course, you just finished doing a couple of successful financings. You're all cashed up. You're going to be doing, I think this is probably the biggest drill program this project's ever seen.
Yeah, actually, certainly for a single year program, absolutely. So we've raised $6.5 million in the last few months. We're going to spend at least $5 million drilling this summer. That's going to get us, we're conservatively saying 6,000 meters. But we hope to get closer to 8,000 meters, drilling both copper and zinc targets this summer, and that's a pretty significant program. We're going to have two drill rigs, mobbing in at the end of mid-June. We'll be mobbing in and should be drilling by the end of June. And we have 24-hour sunlight up there, so we're going to hit it pretty hard and drill through to August and see how many meters we can get done.
Well, yeah, and just so people are aware, I mean, it's hard to get across. I mean, if you go to Aston Bay, if you go to their website and you look at the project, look at the scale bar. Like, it's very difficult for people to grasp just how big this project is. It's absolutely massive. Among other things, you guys did an equally massive airborne survey last year. So all of the drilling you're doing this year, the majority of it is on newly generated targets.
Absolutely, yeah.
The model was there, but the targets are new. Most of these are going to be rolled out actually over the next month or so, I guess. Mm-hmm. But you have started talking about Seal, which is a zinc target, sort of the northwest corner of the project. Mm-hmm. Can you give us just a brief kind of thumbnail sketch of what you're going to target there? Yeah,
well, essentially what we have zinc mineralization pretty much at the surface. It's we have a 43101 resource on Seal, so it's over 1 million tons, which is not very big. It's not really big enough to be a mine, certainly, but it's over 10% zinc and about 1.5 ounces of silver on top of that as well. It has the same tenor of grade as they had at Polaris, and what we're seeing is gravity from our gravity survey, which is really the first comprehensive gravity survey over this area. We're seeing associated high density anomalies with the known mineralization as we would expect, but also more importantly, we're seeing significant amount of down dip and along strike density anomalies, not necessarily zinc, but of course the drill will tell this summer, and that's what we plan on targeting. And it's quite interesting. We're not just drilling red blobs on a map. We have Dave Broughton here, and he's using smart geology and structural geology to help us find to sort out which are the highest priority targets. And we're seeing mineralization. We see the same type of pseudobreccia that was associated with the same horizon at Polaris. We see that on our claims. We're seeing some high density anomalies associated with this pseudobreccia here now that it's only been cursorily tested with the previous drilling in the 90s. We're seeing some fault repetitions in the geology, and now we're seeing fault repetitions in the actual gravity anomalies themselves. Very quite prospective for us. So these are the kinds of things we want to hit.
Yeah, and it's this is a program that you really want to have your eyes on. This project has generated some really nice copper drill holes in the past, but the important thing to understand is that this targeting is all reworked with this new model, similar to the copper belt in Africa. These targets are all blind, so it's not like they're standing there going, okay, here's something 2 meters wide, let's stick some holes in it. You're dealing with very large scale, completely blind targets where if they hit on one of these things, I would expect the market's going to get very, very excited very, very fast. Like, this is absolutely a program you want to be all over. And, I think it's a great one to own before I own a bunch of it, but I think it's a great one to be watching because, to me, this is one of those stories that can really kind of revitalize things. The sector desperately needs a couple of good discoveries. It's been a while. So...
Job one, Tom. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for talking to us today. Thanks for coming to MIF, and I'm looking forward to more targeting news and the start of that drill program.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Tom.